Hello again, folks, and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Legaia. I'm your Dungeon Master Darius. Last we left off, we had gotten a talisman that allows us to summon a super powerful Saru that will heal me fully. We rekindled the love between two individuals, and now we're off to Dahini, the mountain, where the Soren are said to be. Now, you would think that Soren would be the worst off in this whole situation. By the sound of it, they're very much the sort of folk who are, you know, reliant on the Saru, more so than others. The flute inside the satchel suddenly began to shine. I hear a voice from Birdman Gate. Tahini is open to those with the mark of Soren. I mean, I won't lie, that's pretty cool, but couldn't we have just, like, wiggled through the gate? Not saying, just saying. Kinda thought we would have had to play the flute or something. How many games back in the day seriously had Iota? Okay, that's another one. Wait, didn't you have... I thought you had a combo. Nope, not auto. Don't trust that iota, one iota. What was I about to say, goddamn? Common problem with me trying to talk. I fail. Dude, this guy's an earthy thingy. Then again, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. As much as I am enjoying the gameplay in this game, and most of the side stories and most of the characters, I do kind of just want to see it done now. Like, I'm more interested in the plot resolution at this point than I am, you know, collecting all of the Saru and all the super hidden items and whatnot. It's me personally, anyways. And just making sure that there's no other things. So if I end up coming across things naturally at this point, sure. Unholy icon. I already have the War God icon, now I have the Unholy icon. Unholy icon. Penetrates an enemy defense. Oh my. Oh wait. Oh, so it's like the Guardian one. So if it's like the Guardian one... Was it the Guardian one I'm thinking about? Which one was it? Yeah, if it's like the Guardian one, but it's only that, then it's like, I mean, yes. And the only other thing I was thinking was giving Eliza the counter-attacking one. If only so as it'll act as a way for her to have a little bit more defense by making it so as, haha, you don't attack me, I attack you. Hi, Neo Bison. Boop, 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 boop. I think I said it last episode, but I'm unsure at this point, so I'm going to repeat myself. There is the super combos, which work pretty much just as, hey, this is the most efficient way to spend your combos. Or these are the most efficient way, because each character has like 3 combinations that are just super good. But all it really is going somersault, spin kick, whatever. Which is fine. But the problem with them is that it doesn't save them. So you can't go back and you can't look at the list that's in the game and be all like, oh, this is the combo I want to use. Which, I mean, I get. I'm fine. It's just a little bit aggravating is all. Means I always, if I don't have it saved, I'm always gonna have to look over to the side and be all like, alright, what's this sheet of paper say again? Especially if I end up trying to use another combo. Which I think for the most part I've learned all the moves. I think I've missed one. For each character, that is. But again, it kind of goes back to that, you know. Say for me going back and talking to literally every character in the game about this, that, and the other thing, I think I'm good. And yes, as much as I do love a lot of RPGs, that is actually one of the most annoying things to me to do. Even if I wasn't recording things. I think I always kind of preferred the Dragon Quest way of doing things, where it's like, all your information that you need to know at this exact moment is in this village, right now. Because otherwise, it's a freaking hunt for the information. Which, depending on how good they are about giving that information, is fine. But this was the 90s. They didn't exactly have, like, a lot of RPGs didn't really have a really solid way of going, hey, this is something you have heard before. You've spoken with this character, kind of a thing. It's just, hey, you've talked to this person, and if you're super unlucky, they will suddenly decide, hey, you can no longer get this tidbit of information from that person you had spoken to. Gaming in the 90s, man. Gaming in 90s and 2000s, man, actually. And I know someone will be all like, oh, but this game has this thing, where it's like, oh, it has a journal. Yeah, a lot of games did, but not a lot of, a good chunk of games did, but not every single game. Especially not the games that actually mattered about it. This game has a journal. Cool. This one didn't. This one assumes that you remember every little tidbit of information that you had gotten. Spoiler alert, my mind is not like a steel trap. My mind is more like a colander. A strainer. And the information is water. I'm saying I'm bad at retaining information. Maybe as a kid I was better at it, but, you know. Nowadays it's just like, wait, what happened 5 episodes ago? Won't lie, I don't remember significant events in a lot of games anymore. Even the ones that I ran in my channel. Most recent ones? Sure, I'll remember a good chunk of them. But, yeah. Whoa. Didn't think he was going to do that. I'm fine with that. I thought that was actually a dead end for a second, so I was considering just turning around. Wonder Amulet. Oh, I wonder... What did the Wonder Amulet... Oh, that was the... Stop all status effects thing. I'll call that good. Quick, everyone, punch that weird dog thing. Wait. I think too, one of the reasons why I really do want to... I'm enjoying the game, but again, there's a procession of events sort of a thing. Like, if I didn't have a little peeky weeky at the table of contents of that guide, I'd have no clue how close I am to the actual end of the game. So, you know, I think that's one of the things I don't like about doing JRPGs, is that unless it is super obvious about it, like, I think a good one to point out would be Final Fantasy VII. You're going down, spoilers for anyone that hasn't played the OG Final Fantasy VII, by the way. You're going down into the crater in order to actually face off against actual Sephiroth, in order to stop the big bad thing from happening. And let spells do spell things and all that fun stuff. I know, terrible at doing the whole spoilery thing, but, you know, game came out in 1997, so. Point is, it made it very clear when you were going to go into that crater, that was the end. That you were looking at the final stretch, the final, like, hour or two of the game, if you just kept on pressing forward and didn't bother using a save point. A lot of JRPGs really didn't feel like that. Final Fantasy 1 did it pretty damn well with the succession of, you know, final boss after final boss. Final Fantasy 2, not really. Like, I as far as I knew, I was going down into a hole. I did not know I was going into a hole to hell. Place better not be maze, like I'm terrible with mazes. I do see an item though. I'm trying to remember 3. And yes, this is where I'm talking about, where my memory was like a sieve. Final Fantasy 3. What the frick was the ending to Final Fantasy 3? Really wish I remember this stuff offhand. Right, Cloud of Darkness. That was it. I don't even think I really saw the... Did I see the ending of Final Fantasy 3 coming? Really trying to remember now. Which is bollocks. I do remember doing... Yeah, I do remember doing the Sage Tower? Like going to the bottom of the tower first and then going up in order to get the ninja and the sage. Turning those up for a good time. Good luck bell. Oh my god, is this the one I remember reading about? Good luck bell. Decrease in counter rate. Man, I might end up plowing through some of these dungeons at this rate then. Oh boy, a save point. You know what that means. There's likely going to be the boosts. 4 have not played, 5 have not played, 6 have not played, 7 as I mentioned. 8 makes it very blatantly clear what the hell the ending dungeons is like, but it still ends up being like 500 hours depending on what your final goal in that game is. 9, I think it's the same thing. 10 makes it clear. I've not played 12. Most of my examples are Final Fantasies, if you can't tell. Darius, Tormund, look, the summit! Play the flute to call the Soren. There's no mist at the summit. Soren can fly here on their serrated wings. Darius, why don't you play the Soren flute you have with you? Now, as the plan, Darius took out the Soren flute. Darius, Tormund, look! It's the Soren! The Soren are coming! What's going on? You're not Soren. Where did you get that flute? From Grantes. Grantes gave it to us. So that traitor Grantes gave it to you. That doesn't surprise me. This is the Soren's holy place. You earthbound humans must leave here at once. Come, we are leaving. What are you, allies of the Mist? Are you protecting the Mist? How dare you? You can't insult the Soren like that. Then you are prepared to fight the Mist and its allies? Of course we are. That's why we punished Grantes. We're helping build the floating castle. Many brave Soren have died trying to attack the floating castle. Then we should work together. We're on the same side. We revived the Genesis tree. The Mist is gone. Now we need the power of the Soren to destroy the Mist generator in the floating castle. Eh? Long silence. Yes, but still. Long silence. Alright. This is a decision I cannot make on my own. You shall come to our camp and speak with our elder. That agreeable? I mean, could just go up there right now, but sure. Good. We're going to fly, so hold on tight. You fall, you die. Hear them gently. Gently, do you hear? I said gently. Wow, I'm flying. This is incredible. Ooh, yeah. The elder lives in the furthest house. Go speak to him. Oh, you guys got a special here. Does that mean that you actually have dialogue? I heard that down below in Sol and Buma the mist was cleared. Did you do that? Yep. Oh, that's wonderful. Now you're going to destroy the floating castle? Please be careful. The floating castle is a nest of demons. Many Soremen have lost their lives there. Grantes was a good man, but he was too trusting. That's why he fell for Zoro's deception. I kind of assumed that part. I was really expecting a boss fight. You don't just plop a goddamn save point in a dungeon unless two things. One, it's a very long dungeon. Two, it's the end of the dungeon and you're about to die. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. At least there's an N here. Hello. Their wings are created in a secret ceremony. Each Soren receives only one Seru. You want to hear about Grantes? Game, why do you insist on telling me the same story over and over again? Luctes and Grantes are sons of Proctus, the Soren Elder. Grantes was the younger brother of Luctes. The two brothers were very close, but then Grantes fell in love with a surface-dwelling human. Then Grantes was deceived by an evil person who exploited Grantes' devotion to the one he loved. That cruel deceiver was Sora, queen of the floating castle. He promised Grantes Seru wings for Kara if he would steal a raw Seru egg from Buma's Genesis tree. Unwittingly, Grantes helped build the floating castle. Then the mist came. When Croctus learned of Grantes' betrayal, he was left with no choice. He took away Grantes' Seru wings and banished him to the mist in accordance with Soren law. As Grantes' father and as Soren elder was a painful decision for Croctus. Ugh. Only a simple bet here. Well, at least he's not charging me. Which I have to point out a thing here. Is this a cultural thing that they're deciding, oh, we're Soren and everyone else is a human? Because, like, quite literally, the only thing I'm assuming here is that all of these guys are human. But because of they're part of this one culture, they got Seru wings. Do you remember I'm the one who carried you here, Eliza? Good for you. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. Are you seriously going to bar me from talking to the dudes over there? As the one who carried... Sir, you're now officially starting to be creepy. Box, box, box. Healing fruit. Alright. Chaos Breaker, have it. Heavy Strike, especially for Eliza. Not as big as power increase as it used to be, but no, I'm here for it. Pronged Crown. Or God Band. I feel like I'm getting ripped off here. Well, I can basically buy the Pronged Crown for Eliza. And then one more piece of equipment. I'd kind of rather it be damage dealy equipment. So, to that, we'll get the Heavy Strike for Eliza. Then we'll sell the other two pieces of equipment that we just went GTFO to. Oh, Clown, Holy Claw. If I was sure that this was the super end of the game, I would definitely just say, screw it and sell those. Soren had martial arts too, but the greatest master and secret book were lost at Floating Castle. If you go to the Floating Castle, look for the secret book. It is called Soren Secrets. If you bring us the Soren Secrets, I'm sure we'll help you some way. Ah yes, the obligatory let's put everything super strong in the final dungeon, sort of a thing. Ready for success in battle, yeah. Alright, so is he gonna creep on us and move over here when we're heading up to the Elder? Sir, there's a level of obsession. Many times our Soren warriors attacked the floating castle. Many precious lives were lost. They were no match for the Mist's henchmen and their Simseru. Yeah, Simseru are kind of dicks. How much do you want to bet that that guy is actually some sort of evil guy, you know, spying on us? Luctus may have seemed unfriendly, but he's someone you can rely on when the chips are down. Luctus is quite distrusted about his younger brother Grantes' situation. Trusted? Welcome, brave humans. We have already heard about your heroic deeds. Most impressive. I now realize that you truly possess the determination to save the world. We've tried every tactic against the floating castle, but you with the powers of your raw Seru should be able to destroy it. I've decided that the Soren should help you. Go speak to Luctus in the square. He will take you to the floating castle. That's it? No, like, trial? No, like, go here, receive a thing? Just talk to Luctus, go to Flying Castle? I'd say that this feels too good to be true, but I'm unsure if it's too good to be true. I'm going to go ahead and call an episode here. When we return, we'll talk to Luctus. And maybe with a little bit of luck, he'll take us to the castle. Thank you everyone so very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying this series as much as I'm enjoying playing it. As always, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Cheers.